Welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. In this video, I thought I would share some intuitive thoughts about some shifts taking place in the world. Everyone perceives the world differently, and everyone is experiencing almost like a different world, as well as a shared experience. And I think part of this journey is learning to bridge the individual world with the greater shared experience. And everyone is at a different place when it comes to their own unique experience, their perspective, and what they're trying to accomplish spiritually, intellectually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So our shared experience is almost like a continual progress. So obviously there would be some changes that are expected. Like obviously we're going to move forward. There will be what seems to be new advancements, new ways of doing things, new talents, new discoveries. And I feel that the consciousness of the world will continue to increase and that there will be a greater awareness of our spiritual unity developing for many. All the seeming gaps in consciousness are cleansed when we realize our spiritual unity, and all the conditioning of the past no longer has an effect on our consciousness as far as how we see ourselves, how we see others, how we see our world, and how we see our circumstances. This time of year, with spring equinox in March, Easter, and we get a solar eclipse coming up in April, I believe, which is just like a little bit stronger new moon. These can all symbolize new beginnings, revitalization, breakthroughs, improvements, a new phase of life beginning, new revelations, and forward movement of some kind. Some may relate this time to the idea of the resurrection of Christ or the resurrection of the light, which is the right use of our energies, a victory over all forms of negation, a victory over the idea of opposition, separation, or limitation. So it's a soul that is fully brought to life, brought to the awareness of the divine energies within and the life of the spirit within. Everyone has had to overcome some kind of limiting way of thinking. Most of the limiting ways of thinking have come from our external world and have been planted within the subconscious as children. Much of the limiting thinking has been perpetuated from generation to generation. So we've had to learn to recognize these ways of thinking and recognize how it has shaped the way we have seen ourselves, others, and the world. So I would see this time as symbolizing new beginnings and a more fully developed individuality, an individuality that realizes its spiritual unity and is realizing its wholeness. So it's overcoming those limiting ways of thinking. And that's a process that seems to be necessary in creating any kind of desired long-term or permanent change. This could be a time of awakening to a whole new level of self and awakening to a whole new level of a sense of purpose. This could mean a new attitude, a new perspective, and new opportunities. The greater integration of the self means the intuition and the inner voice can be heard more clearly. So there may be a feeling of inner peace because of the ability to hear our own inner guidance more clearly. There would also be an increase in solar activity as well, and that's just because of equinox and the eclipses, which is normal. It happens all of the time. You can kind of time it, usually every new moon or full moon, within about 3 days prior and within about 3 days after. There's some kind of change with solar activity. It's like a rhythm similar to how we breathe. Developing our whole self, our spiritual unity, and Individuality means being more connected but detached and less influenced by things in a negative way. So if there's anything that's felt in an uncomfortable way, it can be seen as some kind of movement of energy, some kind of sensory impression from the subconscious, or being cleansed of concepts that have been in the way of living more fully and more freely. It's all in how we perceive things and how we're working with the energy, our mentality, and this interaction between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So again, I see this time as symbolizing new beginnings, new revelations, greater clarity, which could mean greater capacity to love and new perspectives. I hope this resonated with you guys. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.